talents, callings, and gifts. I don't want to miss anything. I don't want to miss anything that God tells me to convey. So talents, EC4G. In the Old Testament, talents were a measuring tool. They were used for weighing like golds and silvers and metals, of that nature. And in the New Testament, a talent was considered a value of money. All right. And in the Bible, talents were not used in the word talent was not used in the way in which we know it today. That definition was pulled from a parable that was in Matthew 25. 15th century, they pulled that, and that's how we came to know talent, the word talent as we know it now. And in the parable, it speaks of a master that gives his three different servants, pieces of money. Okay, and two of the servants doubled it. Everyone was so fearful of his master that he hid it and he didn't do anything with it. And just a side note, you guys, I want to ask you guys this. How many of us, due to fear of rejection, due to embarrassment, due to being fearful of failure, do not walk in our gifts or the instructions or the leading that God provides to us? So in this regard, it is no wonder why talents are often linked and run parallel to money or used with the objective to render monetary gain. Because trials tend to work in concert as a developmental necessity to bring awareness to our spiritual gifts, and as a result of our mountains and molehills. Reference to last episode. If you didn't listen to it, go check it out. Once we are of a spirit of submission to God's will and his perfect time, he will present our calling to us. Now, what would it look like if I, her mother, like God is our father, if I said to her, "Oh, you want it? Okay, well, you know what? I think that I do want you to have this, so I'm going to give it to you now." And she's never had a day of driving, and she's 6. What would it look like allowing her to walk in a gift that I give her, or drive in a gift that I give her, without her having the proper training? Or you get the gift of knowing his word and having a relationship with him. That is a pivotal, life-changing, altering gift that you receive that will set in motion everything else for you. The good thing about that is you don't have to wait on that gift. You could go online right now and purchase yourself a Bible. Talents are something that you're good at. You can learn a talent. There is a blessing that is attached to a gift. Gifts, this is it's a blessing that is attached to a gift. 17. And it reads, every good. Now, even before it says anything else, it says every good, correct? Good is what? It's of God, correct? Yes. So every good gift, that was one. Every perfect gift. Stop right there again. The word perfect speaks to it deriving from God, right? Perfect. Without discrepancy, exact, faultless, by definition, right? And sinful bodies, however, that is what we are. We were born into sin. We were born into it, and sinful bodies cannot develop on their own accord a gift. It is of God and is by God, okay? You may be thinking of examples in the word, such as like Elijah and Elisha. And what I'm talking about is like when Elijah had asked Elijah before he was to be with God, before he was to leave this earth, was there anything that he could do for him? And Elijah had responded back and simply said, yeah, you can give me a double portion of your spirit. In the verse 10, Elijah agreed. He agreed to give him a double portion, but he agreed contingent on if Elijah saw him when he transitioned, when he went to be with God. If he saw him, then he got it. If he didn't, he was out, you know. Even when he said that, God was still in the midst of that. And this decision was still ultimately God's decision, because God could have easily had had Elijah turn his back, take a bathroom break, go grab something. He could have easily had him turn his back and took him and him not see him transition. But God still gifted him with that. Elijah said yes, but God said yes too in order for it to actually happen. The Greek translation of the word gift is charismata. Charismata, which is where we get the word charismatic from. The root of charismata is charis, and the root literally means grace and kindness and life. So in breaking that down, you guys, spiritual gifts are gifts given by God, by His grace, by His kindness, which lends to understand why Paul says to the church, his people, God's people, are to walk in their spiritual gifts with the spirit of kindness and with the spirit of grace. We're not supposed to walk with a spirit of judgment or shame.